Doctor Who School Reunion, the third episode of Series 2, is written by Toby Whithouse and starring David Tennant, Billy Piper and Noel Clarke, and also starring Elizabeth Sladen and John Leeson. So this episode has been going through several changes, naming the episode Old Friends but then Black Ops, which sounds like Call of Duty, as it was going to be in the army base, but Russell T Davies requested a school setting for simplicity and have the Doctor as a school teacher. The Krillitanes were to be named Krillians until the BBC found the name was trademarked, and Finch's forename was originally Hector until the BBC found a real teacher by the same name and renamed him Lucas. A scene that was cut was of Milos' brain being shorted out by the Doctor's rapid-fire questions, causing him to collapse at the beginning of the episode, which was later alluded to in the episode according to Wikipedia. It was also Russell T Davies' idea to bring Elizabeth Sladen back as Sarah Jane Smith and John Leeson back as K9. Originally, Sladen declined because she thought her character wasn't important, but then she realises she'll be a good focal point of the adventure, so she changed her mind. The episode begins with a poor child getting devoured by Mr. Finch, the headmaster, who's a Krillitane. So yeah, that was a dark beginning. Anthony Head is fantastic as a villain. You'd be terrified if you meet this guy. I wish they bring him back. He's got great lines like, "Ignore the shooty dog thing and do try the chips." So the Doctor goes undercover as a teacher and Rose goes undercover as a dinner lady and working in school cafeteria. Because of Milo's intelligence, the Doctor finds something strange in that school. Basically, the oil they put in the chips for children to eat at lunchtime is to give them a lot of intelligence. Plus the oil is toxic to Krillitanes. One touch and they get burnt like acid, as it happened to one of them who disguised as a dinner lady. It was really funny when the other one was like, "It's fine," she does that after you hear the scream and the explosion in the other room, after when Rose was attempted to ring the ambulance. I loved Elizabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith. She's a fantastic companion. When I first watched that episode at the age of 7, I didn't know who she was as I hadn't watched the classic series at the time. Plus I found her interesting character. And when I looked at her in the classic series, I was like, oh wow, she is so young in that series. I loved K9, he's so fun, and a cool robot dog. It'll be great if I have K9 as my pet. I've met John Leeson at the Comic-Con back in 2014. He's really nice, I had a good chat with him. I liked that Scooby-Doo moment when the Doctor, Rose and Mickey investigate school at night, and Sarah Jane did the same. It's great to see Sarah Jane Smith reunited with the Doctor. You can tell the Doctor's excitement seeing her because David Tennant is a fan of the show in real life and he grew up with Sarah Jane Smith as the Doctor's companion. Krillitanes is pretty cool and scary, especially the way they roar at the screen. I can imagine it can scare the kids away. And poor Rose, that she's thinking the Doctor could leave her eventually when she realised what happened with Sarah Jane Smith. And yes, Sarah Jane spent a lot of time waiting for the Doctor, wishing he'd come back, which is really understandable, as the Doctor dropped her off in Aberdeen instead of Croydon at the end of The Hand of Fear back in Tom Baker's era. Mr. Finch made a great turn when the Doctor looked at him from the staircase, and while they're chatting at the poolside, Mr. Finch seems to be standing up to the Doctor. After the Krillitanes devoured all the human teachers, they got all the kids except Kenny at the computer screen, crack the code of Scace's paradigm, which should be a god maker, and they use kids because they need imagination for them and they're using their souls, which sounds really painful. Murray Gold's music for that scene is outstanding. It's such a blast to listen. I love the scene after when the Doctor, Rose, Sarah Jane, Mickey and Kenny were running away from the Krillitanes. We get K9 shooting at them. It's such a cool scene. Mr. Finch's scream is really scary. We also find out Krillitane's another weakness is loud noise, and I think that's where they introduced to Sonic Screwdriver that doesn't do Deadlock Seal. Well, every weapon or gadgets have a weakness. When K9 shot a lot of cans of oil, burning a lot of Krillitanes except Mr. Finch, where he's just standing there, seemingly more powerful than the others. I love the way he's like, "You bad dog." And K9 was like, "Affirmative." And the school gets blown up as a result. Which, by the way, that's K9 Mark III. Apparently everyone thinks Kenny blew up the school, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing. I mean, what if he gets into a lot of trouble and end up getting sentenced or something? Sarah Jane decided not to travel with the Doctor because she wants the life of her own and stop waiting. And K9 is back, yes, as a Mark IV. The ending is a great setup for Sarah Jane Adventures, and I really love that episode, it's amazing. I'd like to hear what you guys think. Add that to the comments down below, and as always, thanks for watching, see you in the next video.